What I want to do today is just kind of talk you through how you use Camtasia 9 on a software demo if you wanted to record that. And this is obviously going to be a little more involved than just doing a tutorial video. And so what's a software demo? It's something that basically you're showing somebody how to do something, but they have to click on something in order to keep the video moving. And it's a way to get them involved in in the in the recording. Okay, and so let me see if I can find. Let's see if I can find the actual video. I'm going to pull it up here. I'm going to have to go into my history here and just grab it. Okay, I'm going to slide this video in here, and I'm going to slide another one in here also. Okay, so I'm going to show you what the video is. You're probably not going to be able to hear it, but I'm gonna kind of go ahead with this anyway. So we're in screencast.com, and screencast.com is the place where if you're using Camtasia, you can use all the features that are interactive, right? So if you tried to put an interactive video that you created in Camtasia on YouTube, you couldn't do it. If you tried to put it on Vimeo, you couldn't do it. But what you can do is you can put it in screencast.com, or you can put it on your own server. I would not recommend that simply because of all of the bandwidth it's going to take. I would actually recommend that you put it on Amazon S3, and I'm thinking about I will probably do some advanced videos on how you would host your your interactive videos on Amazon S3 because it's going to be the most cost-effective way of being able to deliver the video. Now, the idea around the software video, you'll have to tell me if you can hear the video. Okay, so if you can hear the video talking, please put the Y in the question box. If you can't, that's okay. If you cannot, put it in the question box. Okay, so you don't hear it, no problem. Okay, so a demo video is basically going to come to a point, and you're going to see this. It's going to come to a point, and the video is literally going to stop. Okay, so notice how the video stops at this point and tells the user, hey, click the Windows menu. And the reason I want them to do that is because I want them to get involved. I want them to remember that you're going to click this window to keep going. Okay, so then they do that. Right now, in the second demo, I did something similar. And the second demo, I asked them to click the create action box. So the video stops at that point, right? And it's not going to go on until they do something, until they do the right thing. So they've actually got to click in the right place, and then they've got to click it for it to continue. They click it, and the video continues. And you can set up demos like that if you're trying to explain to somebody how to do something, and then it turns out that they sort of say they understand, but they don't. And one of the ways you make sure people understand something that you're trying to demonstrate to them, either in a web page or in software, is you create these videos, and you can probably create them you can create them in Camtasia 8 and 7. It's just really easy in Camtasia 9, right? So how do you do this? Okay, so I've recorded a video. I recorded the video and I put it inside of Camtasia. And so I did this inside of the course, but what you're going to do is you're going to go to this area, and this is called an interactive hotspot, right? So what I'm going to do is I am going to pull the video to the point where I want them to click that link, right? That's what I want them to do. I want them to click this Windows button in order to continue. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this hotspot in there, right? And then I'm going to shorten it. I'm going to shorten it again so they can, because I only want them to click the window link, because I don't want them to click outside of there. I don't want it to work if they don't do the right thing. Right? So I'm going to put that right there. And that makes that portion interactive. They've got to click that in order to keep going. Now the other thing I want to do is I want to back this up, and let me kind of show you this. I'm going to go inside. This hotspot has properties, and so I want it to pause at the end, and then I want them to click to continue. And so what I want to do here is, and I want to make sure that I'll pull this back here, right? So it pauses after this, and it says click to continue. So what else do you think I need to do? Just kind of based on what you've seen me do so far. So if I do that part, what else do you think I need to add? So anybody can answer. What would I need to do for the person who's watching this? Right? Anybody have any ideas on what else I would need to do? Right? So just write it there in the box if you have any ideas. Well, one thing I would need to do is I need to tell the user, right? I need to tell them. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag in this little thing right here, right? And so I'm going to tell the user, right? I'm going to double click it. I'm going to say click the Windows menu to continue. Now, the reason I have to know this, I need to be aware of this while I'm explaining this in the demo, right? If you're going to do a demo, you want to be thinking about how this is going to work when you actually put these other things in there, because you're going to record the video first, and then you're going to come back and add in the interactive stuff. So I'm going to put that in there, and then I'm going to put an arrow in there, right? I'm also putting an arrow in there. So I'm going to drag that in there, and I'm going to turn that. Oops. Right, so I'm going to make sure they sort of know they have to click this. All right, so click the Windows menu to continue. So I also need to make sure that all of this lines up with the with the hotspot. So I need to put all this stuff behind the cursor, because when the cursor stops, I want it to stop, and then I want them to be pointed to the fact that they have to click that this menu in order for it to continue. Does that make sense? Is everybody with me? So does that make sense? So if it makes sense to you, please put the number 2 in the question box. Okay, right. So what you're trying to do at every step is you're trying to think out, what do I need to tell people, and then what do I need to have them click on? What do I need to have them remember? Right, so I'm going to pick someplace else in the video. Right, so I did this one thing before. Maybe what I want them to do is I'm going to want them to not that part. Let's see. I'm going to want them to render the video, right? I'm going to render this in Photoshop. I'm going to want them to go ahead and take that step where I'm clicking. So I'm going to back this up just a little bit. And then we're going to do the same thing, right? I'm going to create a hotspot right there. I'm going to create a hotspot right there. And you'll notice how it's coming to my timeline, just so I'll be able to keep it straight. So wherever I put the timeline is where it's going to drop that. So I want to be really as precise as I can. I want them to click there. And so I need to give them some instructions, right? I need to tell them what's going on. So I'm going to go back to the annotations. going to add an annotation here, right? And then I'm going to click on this. I'm going to say click step 2, create to continue. Right? And then I could be a little more precise if I wanted to. I can try to drag an arrow up there. I can put an arrow in there. And one of the things that's kind of cool about Camtasia 9 is it's easier. It's easier than some of the past versions, right? It really is. And I can say that as somebody who's been using it for a long time. Some things they have removed, which I don't like. I don't like the fact that you can no longer create MP3s when you render a video. I don't like that. But at the same time, though, I'm okay with that because being able to do stuff like this is very helpful. So again, I want the hotspot to work the very same way. I want to back this before the cursor. So I can bring all this stuff before the cursor, because when the hotspot stops, that's when I want them to get the instruction, right? Actually, you know what? As I think about it, it probably makes the most sense for the hotspot to stop and then they see this, right? So that's what makes the most sense, right? So we want this to stop. Let's get rid of that quiz thing. We want this to stop, right? And then for the directions to show up. So let's bring that here. So when it stops, that shows up. Okay, does that make sense? So if you get that, please put the number 3 in the question box. Okay, so what's going to happen is when we render this video is it's going to be interactive. Now, when we render the video, right, we can send it to screencast.com, or we can create a custom video, and we have to create one with the Smart Player, right? If we just want to create one that we're not going to use on screencast.com, we can host our own video, but we have to create one with the Smart Player files, and we do that through this menu, right? And in fact, one of the good things about this is, let me back this up a little bit, is I can actually add in some options here. I can change the title of it. So again, being able to create a software demo really means that every point in time in the video I can stop. I can tell the viewer, click on something that I'm clicking on. And what that does is that helps them to retain the information a little more. It actually helps you to make sure that they actually know how to do this. Now there are probably maybe there's one other software program that can do this. It does it a little differently. It's called, and I may have explained this on the call before, it's called Adobe Captivate. Adobe Captivate. And Adobe Captivate pretty much does the same thing that Camtasia does, except it's designed to create software demos and other demos that are like this. It gives you a few more options than Camtasia doesn't. But Camtasia is very serviceable if you want to create a software demo, right? And the pricing on this, I think, is $30 a month for a year. So even still, Camtasia is priced more appropriately, to be honest, if you just want to create simple demos. And all you've got to do is understand the hotspots, and then being able to tell the user what it is you want them to do, and what happens if they needs to happen for the video to continue. Okay, so any questions about that? Any questions? Any questions? Now I'm going to be creating some videos for this in the advanced course. So I'll create specific videos regarding this process, and we're going to put that in the advanced course, because there's another part to this is that, as I said, probably the best place to host it is going to be Amazon S3, right? And the reason you want to host on Amazon S3 is because you have to serve the video. Screencast.com has limits on how much you can actually deliver in terms of video. Amazon doesn't have those limits. And when you serve the video through Amazon, you just have to find the way to actually host your, how many of you all host your websites on Amazon S3? Right, anybody here host their website on Amazon S3? If you do, put a 4 in the question box. If you do. Okay, so not many people do that. Well, you can host your website on Amazon S3. There's a way to do that, and I'll probably put that in the advanced course also. Okay, so if there are no questions, we are doing extremely well on time, and that was really all I really need to show you. So I hope that this has been helpful to you, and have a great Sunday. And I will let's see, Dave says, oh, you're right. Yeah, Dave says you host yours on Easy Web Video. Right. Yep. Yep. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.